Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Alan Martinez, who recently won his fight on the WFC 192. Hello, Alan. How are you?
Hi, how's it going? Doing great, feeling great, amazing.
And recently, you won. I think that probably the biggest fight of your career because you beat former contender series fighter Mo Miller. So, if you can tell me overall, what do you think about your performance, and was it like a tough fight for you?
So I honestly feel every fight that I do, whatever the last fight is always my toughest fight, and it's always one that's going to get me closer and closer where I'm trying to go. But Mo Miller was definitely a tough challenge. He's a 35er. We did a catch weight at 130. He unfortunately couldn't make the weight. I still took that fight because of his what he has in his accolades, of course, of wrestling background and winning the Dana White Contender Series fight that he had. So it was one of those things where it's like it's gonna jump me up a little bit at the same time, tough challenge. And then what I thought of the fight, it felt real good for me to be the grappler, striking and forcing him to shoot. That was something that was quite interesting on my end, where I was like a good confidence boost. It was a good, tough fight for sure. And we got the split decision. Of course, I wanted to finish him. I had opportunities to finish him, but it works out to get the experience, more rounds, more experience. And I was just happy with the win.
But in the end, probably he's like the biggest name on your record because of his experience, and I think that it is important to fight on the regional scene against like UFC veteran, a contender series veteran, because it's like good sign that you can, if you can beat this kind of the fighter, probably it's like time for like next chapter of your career.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, it was a good step up for sure because I never fought regional. My whole career has been in Mexico. So I needed a fight out here because it made me feel like, okay, I've done my whole career fighting Latins down there, Mexicans, and just all types of people down there. And also, it was a little local of a show where it was about 45 minutes from my house. So it was like I got the whole team backing, a whole support thing. It was one thing I wanted to do was have my fans come out because a lot of my fights been in Mexico, so it's not an easy trip for them to get out there.
And actually, why your career is like overall like almost exclusively in like UWC? Because it's like a kind of unusual situation.
So, I mean, let's talk about the unusual situation of COVID. So, my career was going I started strong in 2019, my amateur career. I had 4 fights within a year of my fighting. So, in March of 2019, I had 3 fights to finish that year. And then February was my fourth fight. So, between that March to March, I was at 4 fights in. And I like to stay active if I'm healthy. And then March of 2020, or sorry, February of 2020, we all know what happens in May of 2020. And around that time, it was just everything shut down. I was blessed with my coach John Munoz and my manager that we signed with Iridium and Jason House. He plugged my uncle in with UWC, and we're aware of Brandon Moreno. We went to go train with them in February of 2021, and I get on the card in February of 2021, and they welcomed me with open arms. And it's funny, I was the outsider going in from America, going to Mexico, and just fighting with them and keeping a good relation. I became the fan favorite in Mexico, being the American going over, and it was almost like I became their guy in UWC for the 25 division. And we just kind of had a good history ever since. They take good care of me. So Alex Eastless with UWC, I mean, his whole production team, they were just, and it was an interesting time. I fought literally with no fans. No, it was like how the UFC with the Apex, and you don't know how good you can do until you do it. So I fought with nobody around. I can hear the commentating, I hear people, and like it was interesting. And then I was able to do that. And then I went to the El Foro. I went to an arena, and so it was like, okay, I can fight anywhere. Give me anywhere. So it was a good experience. But yeah, I got plugged in with UWC. Great guys. Um, that was a great experience. And then those guys down there, I started finding out Latin fighters have heart. Like that's already something that you know. And I'm not saying that Americans or other countries probably don't, but when you fight people with heart, it makes you question yourself. And I got heart, and now it becomes okay. It's not who has more heart because heart only takes you so far. It becomes the skill and and strategy and the IQ, and that's kind of where I separated myself from these guys.
And right now with this like really big win, you are 13 and 0. And like most fighters with this kind of record are on at least on the UFC radar. And what do you think should be next for you right now? Do you have maybe some plans or getting to probably even to the UFC like in quite near future?
Oh, most definitely. I think a lot of times I just trust the process because everyone wants to get in. I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of guys that get in at 6-0, 7-0. They get in the UFC, they fight a real contender, and then they get pushed down a little bit. It takes a minute to build themselves back up. And I just trust my coach. I actually had an opportunity to fight in the UFC, I believe it was last year. Um, we had some things going on, and I didn't take that fight. So it was also another thing too. I don't want to go in the UFC and just be another fighter. I'm gonna go in the UFC. I want to already be not say complete because there's never such thing as being a complete fighter right away, but I have a good understanding of everything. Um, and my uncle is my coach, John Munoz. So he said, I like the number 13. He's like, we get 13 fights, Alan. That's a sweet number. And for me, sometimes I get a little excited. I'm like, nah, I think we should get in now. That's the thing. You got to trust your coaches, trust your team. And he's like, and now this fight was just a eye opener. I think I hit my understanding of flow in this fight, the preparation, the camp, but also the fight in the back when you're warming up. I was in such a good zen and a good flow. And I seen TJ Dillashaw just talk about this in one of his interviews on the Jackson podcast, where he said he had to trick himself. He's so tunnel vision on the strategy and performing that way. He had to switch it in a like take in everything. And you see his face change in that like walkout he had, and he was all smiling. He said that was one of his best. So I look at it. He entered flow. Most likely, he entered flow. So I think I figured that out. I figured how to tap into that on this fight with Mo, which was just a great step up. So now it's get one more fight. I want to solidify the UWC because you don't fight 12 fights with a promotion and don't get a belt. So I think it would make sense. My next fight, which we're looking to fight in August, we'll see August, September, but most likely August, end of August, and we'll go UWC, go for a belt. I should have had the belt before, but a teammate of mine that was an affiliate team of ours at the time, he had the belt. I trained with him when I would go out there and TJ and train. So it didn't make sense. And I'm not the kind of guy to go, I'm gonna beat you up to get what you have. I'm patient. I'll take my time with it. And now we have an opportunity. There's a vacated 125 belt UWC. My coach, which is still my manager as well, they're talking with them right now. So we'll be on the works for a UWC fight. We'll make it 14-0, and we'll be ready to get in the UFC after that.
Yes, like winning 12 fights in the promotions, it's like you are like uncrowded champion.
Right. So it makes sense. And also too, I'm the kind of guy to like I like giving back to what made me who I am. And UWC was having shows during 2021 when the world was still shut down, and they gave me the opportunity. They embraced me with open arms. How can I not give them a like it's almost like a shout out. It's like you're going if I go in the UFC now after this last fight, they're gonna look at my last fight. Oh, Alan, WFC, which I appreciate them as well, but UWC kind of raised me as a pro fighter. The way to give back to them is if I get the belt, now you go in, oh, he's a former champion at UWC, UW, and it keeps, and they're going to show clips of that, and they go, and it kind of helps their promotion because if you're a young aspiring star, especially from Latin America, not just Latin America, you can even do it from the States and get fights down there. And it kind of like, I just want to give back in that sense. I don't want to leave them with, like, oh, just take the glory and get out. Like, no, it's not my style.
And earlier this year you had like kickboxing bout, right?
I did. King of the Cage, and again, they we have a good relationship with them. They started my amateur career. My coach has been dealing with them. We've had guys like Sean Strickland come out of our gym, win the King of the Cage belt, go to the UFC from our gym. We parted ways with them, but like we've had such a good connection with King of the Cage. And my uncle's like, well, I kind of mentioned I want to do a kickboxing match because I'm coming as a jiu-jitsu guy. Very unlikely you get a jiu-jitsu guy that has striking. And everyone just looks at sequence as grapplers. We're just grapplers, but we're strikers. We just don't get to show it because we take you down and we finish you there. So I told my uncle, I was like, it'd be cool to get a kickboxing match. And then the opportunity presented itself. He calls me and he goes, hey, there's a fight on Valentine's Day. It's a kickboxing match. Are you in? I say, yeah, sign me up. Put me in. I haven't fought since the last year. It was, I believe, April of 2025. So it was like, I need a tune up. What better tune up than just a pure striking match? And we took that opportunity. We passed that assessment with flying colors. I didn't look like a grappler at all, striking knees, throwing everything. So it's like, yeah, that was and it was a good feeling to get back without having a risk of, like if you lose a kickboxing match, it's not like you're in MMA and messes with that record. It was a good little test for sure.
And overall, of course, like you are like a really, really good grappler. I believe that you are like a second degree black belt. And you have like a great takedown game. But overall, when you were like a younger fighter or like just a younger man, did you start with like BJJ as the first sport?
Yeah, so I started jiu-jitsu when I was 6. Um, yeah, so I've been doing it now. I'm 29, so 23 years of doing jiu-jitsu. Um, my uncle, I mean, he's my coach. He has a father figure, or I have a father figure relationship with him. He's my uncle, but like he pretty much raised me too with my grandparents. So it's like he was very hard on us. He's tough love for sure. It made me who I am. But he made us train. Like it was non-negotiable. He was like, if you guys are gonna be in this family kind of thing, like I don't want my nephews to be sissies. I don't need them to be soft. You guys are gonna train. And we were soft. Me and my brother, we were soft, like super soft. So, and I was the worst. I would cry for anything. So it was like he saw that, and I'm pretty sure he was like, I need to help these kids out. And also too, being in martial arts, it guides you. It gives you some type of being grounded in a sense, like you're disciplined, you start working on your respect and all that kind of thing. So it wasn't just self defense, but it was a lot for sure as a kid. And also, I never had the plan of being a fighter. I was never in there. It was just get through being forced to train, and then you get good, and it's like, I'm pretty good at this. But I got my butt whooped for years. It took about 5 years before I did my first competition, or 4 years. I got my butt whooped and I still got my butt whooped after that. And I started winning my first competitions, and I was like, this is awesome. I like this. Then I see my cousin Johnny Munoz, former UFC fighter, current fighter UWC, and I see him fight, and I'm like, I could do this, dude. I'm training with them. Like I do the jiu-jitsu, I just need to do the striking part, but I could do this. And then I kind of switched gears of like, I kind of want to fight too. And then the opportunity arose. I did that. We brought in a wrestling coach, which is a former friend of ours too, Jason Conine out of San Antonio, Texas. So we went out there to go get our wrestling up, and I mean, that helped tremendously because our jiu-jitsu, our foundation, our my uncle was really big on wrestling as well. So it wasn't just pure grappling and butt scooting is what they do now. It was still takedowns back then. So we did a lot of takedowns for sure. And then we fine-tuned some things. And then it was just a lot of good things that came out of it. So the grappling with the wrestling, I mean, I don't I never put myself like, oh, I'm fighting this D1 wrestler. I'm fighting an Olympic level wrestler. I understand my abilities. I can wrestle with anyone. I could grapple with anyone. And now I'm showing I could strike with anyone. I train with Brandon Moreno at times when I go to Vegas. Uh, he was out of the gym that we used to train out in TJ. So it's like I don't go and get beat. I used to in the beginning just get toyed with. My years progressed. I gotten better. I gotten a little more wiser, and now it's like I can actually be a partner for him and give him some work instead of just being, oh well, this guy's a waste of my time. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of progression for sure, but the journey started at 6, and We've been going ever since.
But it is like great feeling when you are not good at all at one point, and then you made a lot of progress, and you are like one of the best fighters in the team. It's probably like a great feeling, and like this kind of like a big accomplishment in the end.
I think anyone that has taken the longer road can understand that in any sport and anything you do in life. There are some people, especially because I've been teaching martial arts for a while now too, and being on both sides of the spectrum where you can see coach side, student side. Um, we get kids, I teach mostly the kids. We get kids that are talented. They come in, they're real good. They go to do a tournament, they win right away. What happens? They lose. And then now their talent wears off. Where's the hard work? So for me, I wasn't talented coming up. I just got my butt whooped. I sucked. It was bad, which is I think anyone's starting point. But because I was so pushed by my uncle and my aunt, where I wasn't able to quit, you start realizing, well, if I'm stuck here, I might as well figure this out. I might as well be good. If I'm stuck here, I might as well get to my ability where I can at least hang and at least do okay. Because then it's just gonna be terrible every session. And I think I came to that point, and I still don't look at I'm 13 and 0. It's funny because people tell me that remind me I'm 13. I still feel 1 and 0 or 2 and 0. I keep that mindset for sure of like I'm not in how you mentioned being one of the best guys at the gym. I don't feel like I'm the best guy at the gym. That's the thing. I can get beat up any given moment by any of our guys. So you still got to be on your A game. And the good thing is I work on stuff. So I put myself in risk every time. If I need to work on certain moves, I put myself in a vulnerability where I get beat up again. And I think that's my biggest attribute is I'm able to be the punching bag. I'm not just the guy. No one's the guy. So it's kind of nice. And I'm a younger sibling. And I think that attests to that, getting beat up, pummeled every day by my brother and my cousin, even my other cousin, and just being I've always accepted my fate of being the younger one, getting beat up, crying. So I could put myself back there everywhere I go. I could be the one getting made fun of. It is what it is. I've overcame that. So yeah, I think it's a good feeling to be at that position, knowing I can do something, but at the same time humble enough to bring myself back down to square one and be a white belt every day.
And it is very good because sometimes ego can be a problem that you like fighting against everyone because you think that you are the best.
Ryan Holiday, ego is the enemy. Tap into that.
Yes, that's right. And overall, I think that like a great record is one thing, but overall, I think that you have this kind of like elite skills too. And I think that in the end, your place should be in the UFC even right now, probably like even a few fights ago. But when you watch a like UFC flyweight division, do you maybe have some names that you think that you against this fighter would be like a super interesting fight, also like from your perspective that he can like challenge you in some ways?
I think you're in the major leagues. Once you talk UFC, everyone in there had to be the guy at regional. They had to be the guy wherever they came from, whatever state, whatever country. I think everyone's tough, but I do like that division because if you look at all the other divisions, mostly all the others, they're saturated. There's so many guys. Like you got the 35 division, which is crazy because that's just 10 pounds above. You could fight 10 guys, and you're still not even a top guy. So it's like my division, on the other hand, I fight four guys. I'm the top guy already. So I don't look at it as guys I want to fight. I just look at it as I keep a Sean O'Malley approach to that as well. If you're going to get paid the base pay in the beginning, why fight a tough fight when you can fight guys in the lower end? And again, there's probably about 30 guys in that division. So I would start myself. Of course, the record, they're going to use that as a selling point. You got an undefeated fighter, make them do this. The great thing is I have a great manager of Jason House and Iridium Sports where they can negotiate that as well. Why rush a kid to the title shot? Why rush a kid when we can actually have them fight these guys, let them build to it, and it builds the anticipation. He should get a title shot already. He should. They brought a guy from another promotion, Arisen, to fight Pantoja. They need somebody in that division right now with Joshua Van, Tyra. You still got Roval up there. You got Pantoja coming back. That makes for a good what's going on up there. I'm not looking at that right now. That's always on the radar, but I'm looking at what I can do when I get in and showcase. So I'm looking at those bottom level guys that are either on their way out of the UFC, and that's where I want to start climbing from. I did it in UWC. I fought 12 fights. Still didn't get my title shot. I will now, but you know what I mean? Like I don't mind working my one guy at a time kind of thing, and build my way up from there. I don't. Yeah, there's some fighters, and also too with Iridium, they're very known for their last minute. They get guys in last minute, so I'm open to that as well. The problem is if you take the jump and beat a guy up here, you don't go back down and start working that way. So I need to be very aware of that. But I'm also aware what fights are coming up with flyweights in there. Let me get myself back in. Someone tried calling me. Um, so I'm aware of that as well. So I just need to look at where the flyweights that are fighting, be ready for a last minute something happens. And that's the good thing. I'm always training. So that's good. The weight's usually always good, like 90% of the time. Right now we're working on getting a little bigger, but it's going to be nice. So I don't look at it like names per se. I just look at it as the opportunity and taking advantage of it when it comes and then being very strategic. I'm not the kind of fighter that just goes yes, 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 yes. It has to make sense. At the end of the day, I'm in control of what happens because I'm the one fighting. And I don't think fighters understand that. I think they let someone else steer their boat. You're the captain of your ship. If you set sail a certain degree, you can be a whole different place because you listen to them shift your tide. So yeah, so I don't look at it like I want to fight this guy, I want to fight that. I look at it like when the opportunity presents itself, I will make that decision. We'll fight that fight. I'll beat that fight. I'll pass it flying colors. And I have a really good confidence on moving up that ranking system. And then four to six fights, we'll be a top guy, and then we'll make some noise. And if that makes sense, if going according to God's plan on that and the way I feel, we get 14-0, get in the UFC, six fights, that's 20-0. I mean, it's just gonna make for a wow. It's gonna make for it. I'm not even going for Khabib's record at all. I don't think 29's on there. But I think for my own record and my own accomplishments, 20 and go for a belt, that sounds pretty good to me.
And I think that is kind of crazy that like flyweight fighters on the regional scene are on a really high level. So if UFC would like to build flyweight division, it wouldn't be a problem because it's like in US, in Asia, there are a lot of like guys who should be in the UFC. So probably it can be like one of the deepest divisions actually.
That was a focus I had. And I mean, I don't like using other people's slogans and then making it my own. I'm not a fan of that. I'll just make mine organically. But when the slogan makes sense of like bringing greatness, and that's a lot of things that I look at is like what's great and try to be to that point and do my thing at the best I can is bring some greatness back to that division. Because Demetrius Johnson did it. The only problem is it wasn't big at the time. So he did such a great thing, and yet no one had eyes on that division. So it's like it's underlooked, but that's the GOAT right there. Him and John Jones are the GOAT, but you got a guy defending his belt 10 times, like 10, 11 times. That's unbelievable. And he made it look easy almost every time. So, yeah, that's we're gonna bring that back. We're gonna bring the flyweights. And you get guys like you had a heavyweight fight at the White House card that wasn't a main event. So that's already showing right there. You could get lighter guys be your main event. So that's one thing I also wanted to keep in mind too is like how can I make it where you have a flyweight fight as a main event for a big card. But again, we got to get our next fight in. I always have to be one step like I like the end goal. I like working backwards, but then we got to come to reality again. We got to win our next fight, go from there, get in, win those fights, and just keep climbing. But I keep my mind open to what's way out there, then work my way back to the start point. But it's kind of nice to talk about it for sure. I
And you mentioned the UFC White House show. And on that card, who impressed you the most?
think Justin Gaethje impressed every. It was interesting because I'm a big fan of fighters that are very aware of themselves. They tie a relationship with God. So like with Ilya, his rise, of course, undefeated, but just the way he carried himself. Same with like Connor, the way he carried himself, and that that self belief. I'm a big believer on believing in yourself, and without realizing it, Gaethje always believes in himself, and he was the underdog, and that fight right there alone was like that was an American fight right there. Like that was what the United States needed. Because I honestly thought Ilya was going to put him out on that lawn first or second round. And then when he gets hit with those shots, Justin got hit with those shots on the second round and didn't like collapse all the way through, even though Ilya couldn't grapple him like the finish. He was doing good on positional stuff and couldn't finish him. And Gaethje's known for getting beat up in the first, second round and then coming back 3, 4, and 5. So that fight right there was like that's what it's that's I don't know. I just feel like that right there is a definition of being American. Like getting your ass whooped in the beginning and then just coming sticking it out and then winning at the end.
Yes, and actually, I thought that in the second round it can be over because these body shots were like super vicious.
Yeah, those body shots were no joke. And again, I like to look at fights and try to take what works for a fighter because again, you're molding yourself. You're trying to you're being your own style, but you can try different things that other fighters do. And the thing is that I notice people steal everything from a fighter. Oh, I need to do everything, walk like them, talk like them. You just need to take things that work. And Ilya's body shot by far is his best weapon. And yeah, and I honestly thought it was over. I was looking at it like he's gonna tap him. And they did some similarities of Khabib and Ilya because Ilya and them they both had the same mount and they were setting up that same triangle, but Khabib just a different grappler, and it showed right there because Ilya couldn't get the finish on that. So, but that was I mean that whole card was awesome. It was a great American experience for the United States and have other countries look at. I think it brought so much attention to MMA because you got people that would never even watch that because they call us lunatics or they call us crazy people for going in those fights. I think anyone would look at other people's profession and call it crazy. So it just that's just normal, I guess. But yeah, it was just that whole card was awesome. All 7 fights, all 7 finishes. The UFC did a great job there, putting the right fights. And then shout out to all the fighters because they all believed they were going to win, but it ends up showing in the fights. There's levels to it, and certain guys just. I think the atmosphere you're fighting at the White House, that's your backdrop. It's like it just made it so awesome. So that was just an awesome experience to be able to watch it.
Yes, and just one time in history, it probably never
Again,
will happen again. Yes.
like how Dana said, the sphere never happening again. And then you have the White House card, never happening again. And again, you would think, how are you going to top the sphere? Well, they did now. So I don't know how they would top that, but I'm sure there's something that's going to top that. So we just got to keep an open mind. But what an experience as an MMA fighter, being able to be like, man, we're fighting in a casino at one time to be able to have guys fight at the White House. Like, that's just awesome. UFC did a great job there.
I have a last one question for you because I think that you have like quite intriguing nickname, Super Glue. If you can tell me what is like story behind it.
So yeah, that nickname was something. I mean, it was given to me as a kid. There's a guy, Kenneth Knapp, um, from our gym, one of our black belts, and my game plan as a kid was very conservative, grappling, doing jiu-jitsu, and I always had a good close guard. I still do now. I mean, it's very hard to pass my guard. So my close guard has been my biggest asset when it comes to pure jiu-jitsu. And everyone's like, man, I can't open his legs. It's almost like I'm stuck in there like glue. And then he's like, Alan's like super glue. And then boom, it just literally stuck with no pun intended. And the super glue name got more and more just as soon as I grab you, I'd hold you, and that's about it. You're not getting out. I'm stuck on you. And then it helped for MMA because like I take you down, it was the same thing. Now I'm on top, but like I'm stuck to you. I'm always on you. The pressure's always there. And then I also came into the realization too, I might get in trouble with Super Glue Company. So I kept the name. I don't think I get in trouble for using it as a nickname, but I did if there's some monetized money to be made. So I had someone, they'd call me Glue. Hey, what up, Glue? Glue. And I was like, Glue's kind of nice. Then I took the approach of Connor, the Notorious MMA, the Glue MMA, and it was like, you don't want your social media name to have numbers and all that stuff is what I was told, or like underscores. It's kind of hard to like get that on something. So I was like, how can I be just that? And the Glue MMA, that stuck right there. Again, no pun intended, but it flows. And I'll be super glue as I fight. The glue on everything else for putting my brand. So the Glue MMA is a brand at that point now. The glue in general, but yeah, super glue for sure. I don't think anyone's gonna and everyone that fights me, they'll understand too. You can do everything you can in your power to get me off you. Yeah, so it's gonna be tough.
Okay, Alan, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. Of course, I hope that you will win your next fight and fight after this. So as the champion, you will get to the UFC fighting against like the best fighters possible because I think that your place is there.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate that. I really appreciate the time. Again, it took a minute for us to get together, but feel free to after that one, let's build this podcast up, Let's get all the prospects on here. Hopefully this brings eyes to bigger shows that people can see this show and be like, I didn't hear of this guy until your podcast. So let's bring it up together.